Hello, welcome back. So, the Lord came through and he said, worship 136 and discretion. So, really quick, I have things numbered in the work that I do, but that is not the only meaning to the numbers. You want to see scripture, you want to take all this into your prayer and meditation, take it to the Lord that way. Okay, or you will not be using discretion that much. So, funny, he came in with that discretion as soon as I shared a couple links to some movie clips and some songs. So, those in my ministry, you want to take everything with a grain of salt, like I said, and you might want to use that discretion when enjoying the things here. So I don't usually share anything that's very harsh. I try to keep it very mild, no curse language, blood, gore, stuff like that. But I may share some fun stuff, and there may occasionally be a cuss word in it. However, I'm not going to do that when, first of all, it's Sunday. Maybe not even on Saturday. And when I'm trying to bring divine messages. And if I do, it is just because I really want you to see that little piece of information, because I like to, not only do I like to give you the guidance, but I also like to lift spirits and stuff like that. So, and we are doing online ministry that can be very different than going to church. And for some, that's their only option, or it's what works best for them. I've had the issues with the health and stuff over the years, so I've done a lot of communing with God and growth and development, spiritual worship and work from home in the bed, not really having much option. And he met me there and he worked with me there. So a lot of what I'm bringing you comes from that. So this video, this talk is about discretion in this video, and so I'm going to do a little word on that real quick, so we can use more discretion. Everyone can use more edification and more discretion. And the more that we're teachable and have used spiritual discernment in cultivating ourselves or our ministries, platforms, or others, the more we can be discreet, the more we're able to work within that discretion and teach and guide others to use that discretion and help them develop that teachable spirit and that spiritual discernment. So everything is everything that I teach, I also absorb for myself and apply to myself as much as I can. So I do a lot of my own self-edification, and the Lord helps me with that. So attending church, listening to ministries, godly messages, subscribing to channels and things like that, or being a part of a community in any way, especially a spiritual community, becomes a culture. It becomes a way. And so when we're doing that, we really just want to be cultivating. And I'm a ministry of truth first and foremost. So I like to cultivate a lot of truth. And my favorite way to do that is to give people a lot of development through discernment, and put on those thinking caps, put on those love goggles, put on those discernment ears and things like that. so that you are able to absorb things very discreetly. You don't miss little things. You become very keen. You become wise as serpents. You learn how to be a critical thinker. You learn how to apply judgment properly in the right dose. And you also learn how to be human a little bit more. You know, we make mistakes. We're not perfect, right? It's not about being perfect, but it's about perfecting and cultivating ourselves. So, with that, let me give you some words on discretion. Discretion is not exactly the same thing as discernment. Discretion is a result of discernment. So, never discuss your problems with someone who cannot solve it. That's 2 words in the past couple days we've gotten on work, problem solving, criticism, discretion, things like that. Funny how he's leading me in with this set of words for 2 days in a row, getting these things on repeat with the cards and with other tools. So, silence cannot be misquoted. So, with discernment, we learn when to hold our tongue. And some of us have had to go through a lot of judgment due to criticism and judgment from others, misquoting, misinterpreting, or misunderstanding us. So, this could be a sign that that's something he is taking a look at in our behalf and showing favor on. So we should probably pray about that. This would be a good time to get with God on that. So discretion, let me give you some word. Therefore, give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? 1 Kings 3:9. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season. In other words, alignment, right? He has alignment. He is aligned perfectly with God at that point. Whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Psalms 1:1-3. A good man deals graciously and lends. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Psalms 112:5. I am your servant. Give me understanding that I may know your testimonies. The entrance of your word gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. Psalms 119, 125-130. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. And I really like this right here. Never discuss your problems with someone who cannot solve it. Silence cannot be misquoted. So we run into that a lot on YouTube and on the internet and out in public. And when that's happening, when we're being misquoted, when we're being misjudged, misunderstood, mocked, scorned, things like that, I call that a very archonic energy. So it's not harmonious, it's not harmonic, it's the opposite, it's archonic. So some people do that because they have attachment energy. As an empath, we're very sensitive to attachment energy, and those that have that attachment energy are drawn to us like moths because that's their way of seeking God. It isn't good, it isn't pleasant, it's not it can be unbearable sometimes. It can be very overwhelming. It can wear us out. It can drain our energy. But the more we are able to guard against that and know how to deal with it, the better. And oftentimes, it's just a matter of discretion. It's a matter of having the right tools, being grounded through a routine of grounding your energy through prayer, meditation, and knowing the word, things like that, and surrounding yourself with positive energies. So that is one of our aims as twin flames, doing twin flame deeds and having these platforms. That is a major, huge part of it, is just basically to help people to discern and to help them in areas where it may not be so obvious that they have some attachment energies with them, you know. It happens to all of us. It really does. It doesn't matter if we're believers, not believers. It doesn't matter if we're, you know, we all sin. And it's always good to know where that sin is coming from. It's much easier to deal with sin if we're very knowledgeable about it and if we acknowledge the sin. So sin as in our shortcomings or our flaws, that type of sin. That's the kind of sin I would be referring to. So often discretion comes from that discernment, but it also comes from discipline. And I will cover those two things today and leave those in the library, Twin Flame Deeds library, and you can check those out at your own discretion. And that's another thing about discretion and worship about these online ministries, is that people can come to it at their own discretion, and they can worship in a lot of different ways. It's a free-flowing energy. It's a huge space. It leaves us a lot of space to do that, but it also requires a good level of discretion and discernment. So I am going to finish what I'm working on, and thank you for listening. Leave the channel some likes, please. Go ahead and subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. Hit that bell. I would be most grateful if you would come visit this channel at your own discretion, and I do have it in my heart to set this channel up that way so that you can kind of put me in your, you know, in your library list, or put me on a playlist, or save me somewhere so that you can refer back to these things or pop in when it's convenient for you, and you know, be a regular here. I want my viewers to be regulars. I want to always be a resource. That's one thing DMGI has always been known for and good for, is being a good resource, a complimentary type ministry, and a good source for divine edification, and a number one source for, you don't have to worry too much about what's coming through here. You know it's of God. It proves itself just like Scripture does. So there you have it. I love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.